3D The Red Queen from Alice Through the Looking Glass, acrylic nail art tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish.
Hello everyone, in today's video I'm going to be sculpting a 3D The Red Queen from Alice Through the Looking Glass, and this is a very fun design. It's actually a little bit easier than it looks, so if you are into sculpting 3D stuff, be sure to give this a try, and don't forget to click subscribe to see my future videos as well.
To start with, I'm going to begin by just directly on the nail tip, so I have no acrylic on my nail thus far except for what I'm applying at the moment, and I'm using a beige tone cover pink, and then I'm going to be shaping the face, or making her face shape. Oh, anyways, so I'm going to start with her head, and her head has very strong cheekbones, a heavy jawline, and then she's got a widow's peak, so right in the center of her forehead, just push that in a little bit to give her that heart-shaped face. And then I'm going to add her neck, and then on top of her neck, I'm going to add these two white sections for the collar of her shirt, or dress, I guess. Her collar comes out in these two big long points. You can't obviously see all that on the nail, but it still has that V shape. So then around this, I'm going to be adding her hair, and I am sculpting this directly on a nail tip. If you're doing this on your own nail or on a customer's nail or a friend's nail or what have you, I would probably create an overlay with clear first just to give the nail some strength before adding the 3D art. This is, for me, when I'm doing this nail, it's just for the fun of it or for practice. I'm not actually going to be wearing it. But without a layer of clear to give it some strength, it isn't going to be wearable. It's not going to have the integrity that you would want a nail to have if it was actually on a human. So yeah, add her hair with red going all the way around, and I'm going to be thickening up her face with another layer of that cover pink color that I was using before. And if you were to use a color underneath, like a black or even any color underneath her face, instead of clear, then when you used a cover pink to create her skin tone, the other color underneath would show through and it would really muddy her face. So then once that layer of acrylic you just put on has turned matte, use a smaller brush and sort of press in where you want her eye sockets to be. And this is what I find the best way to subtly start sculpting out a face shape. And then after you got that, you're going to have a slight bridge of her nose already found from between her eye sockets, but then thicken up the tip of her nose and also the bridge. Just add some more acrylic with your 3D sculpting brush and then push and form that. And I kept pushing and adjusting and pressing on it until it was set and it would no longer move, just because I thought the more you keep messing with it, the better it looks. You know, you keep touching it and it keeps getting increasingly better and better. At least I thought it did. So I just kept messing with it until I couldn't anymore. And my cover pink was a little bit too dark for her skin. She's very, very pale. And so I decided that I would lighten her skin tone with some really wet white acrylic. So I took a bead of white acrylic and it was almost like paint, and I just brushed that over. This is going to create a really thin layer just to give it her some more pale, give her complexion, make her complexion pale. Oh dear, I really can't think today. So anyways, so then I'm going to take sections of her hair. So I did it in stripes, or so to speak, and so I put these layers of acrylic down and then I let them turn matte. So I used 3 at a time, and then I pressed them with my brush to give them sort of a wavy shape. And her hair isn't smooth. It isn't a smooth hairdo. It's probably curled or a perm, and then it's hairsprayed into this crazy heart-shaped hairdo. And so you don't want her hair to look smooth on your nail as well. You want to definitely have some texture to it, which is what we're doing now. And so I just worked in section after section until her entire hair was covered with some movement. In the areas that don't yet have acrylic, so for me that's a little bit above her head, and then there's a small section between her hair and the collar of her shirt, and so those are the areas that I need to fill in, and I'm going to be filling them in with black. So then you have just those small areas on the sides. Now I'm going to be switching to paint instead of the liquid and powder acrylic, and so I'm going to start with black. I'm going to find where her facial features are. So I'm going to start with her eyebrows, and then I'm going to just paint those. And if you need to continue to adjust them, if you know something's wrong, you can go ahead and you can fix it. If you look at it and you can't wipe it off immediately, you can either paint over it with a nude color that matches her skin, or you could gently file it off, and it wouldn't take hardly any filing at all to file off that little bit of acrylic paint. So then I added her eyes below and then just a little upside down shape for her lips or her mouth. And now I'm going to be giving her her blue eyeshadow. And I realized that my blue was a little bit too dark after I already painted it on her. So I decided that before that dried, I would just blend in some white. Generally speaking, you'd probably want to lighten your color or mix your colors off the nail and then paint them on already mixed. But sometimes you just have to improvise, which is what is going on here. So I just made it work. And then I'm going to fill in her eyes with some white. Add her heart-shaped lips with red. And now I'm going to be fixing all my black details and also adding a few. So I'm going to begin by outlining her chin and also the collar of her shirt, just like that, with really thin black lines as thin as I can manage, fixing up her lips, adding nostrils, and then re-outlining her eyes. And on the top lash line, you're going to want to feather it out to make her look like she does have eyelashes. So just take and make a tiny dashed line going all around the top line of her eyes. It kind of gives her a more feminine appearance. And then I'm going to add her pupils. And then if you have room, you may or may not, I'm going to add her crown above her head. So with black gel paint, I'm going to be painting the crown and then curing it halfway. For me, it's a minute in my UV lamp. And then pressing a piece of gold foil over that partially cured gel to transfer the color and give her a gold crown. I'm going to add a layer of gel sealer over the black background and her crown. And so it's just those little bits there, and then also over the collar of her shirt, and curing that fully 100%, and then adding a matte top coat over everything else, especially focusing on her face where all of that acrylic paint is to protect it and keep it from wearing off. So I hope you like this design, and please share any recreations with me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I would really love to see them, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!